Hey everybody, welcome to Stampin' Fun Friday. Today I have a fun butterfly distress card to share with you using some Hero Art stamps. The first thing I'm going to do is add some Versamark ink to this raindrop background stamp by Hero Arts, and then I'm going to stamp it on this craft note card. Once I've got that stamped on the note card, I am going to take some white embossing powder and sprinkle it over the stamped image. Make sure I get it covered really well with the embossing powder, and then I'm going to just heat set that with my embossing gun. And then I'm going to round the corners real quick with this 1/4 inch corner rounder from Fiskars. I just like the look of those, just a little bit rounded corner. Then I'm going to take some Vintage Photo Distress ink by Ranger, and I'm just going to rub that along the edges there of my card just a little bit to distress the edges. And that the embossing then on the card that I've done in the white, I might be getting a little bit of ink on it, but when I'm finished distressing the edges, I'm going to take a paper towel and just wipe that ink right off the top. It'll all come off. And then my edges are left with that nice distressed look. Then I'm going to just take some smooth white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp this really pretty heart butterfly stamp from Hero Arts 3 times, because I'm going to emboss each of these butterflies with a different color of embossing powder. I just cut them apart so that I could emboss them easily. And here I'm using the, I think it's Rouge, it's a red from American Crafts. It's their Zing embossing powder. I really like these embossing powders, especially the opaque ones. This is the mustard colored embossing powder. And then I'm going to use, I think the last one is called Wave, and it's a blue embossing powder. I'm just kind of flicking the pieces of paper to get any of those stray little embossing powder flecks off of there before I heat set it. And then after I have heat set each of the butterflies, I'm going to go ahead and cut them out with my scissors pretty close to the embossed image. And then I'm going to take that Vintage Photo Ranger Distress ink again, and I'm going to just rub that right into the stamped image. It kind of colors in that open portion, that unstamped portion of the butterfly wings. And then again, as soon as I'm done inking those up like I want them, I'm going to take a paper towel and rub that excess ink off of the embossed image. It just, the embossing creates a really good resist for the ink. Now I just want to punch a border out of this dotted white basil cardstock. It has that really nice little raised dot image. You can't really see it really good here, but I punched one side and then I cut it to the width that I wanted it. I'm going to go ahead and punch the other side to create my own border for the card. And then I'm just going to take a strip of craft paper. It's about 1 inch wide, and I'm just going to distress the edges a little bit. And then I'm going to rub some of that Vintage Photo ink along the distressed edge, and the edge will really pick up the ink well. Just going to rub that in there really good. And as soon as I have that all distressed, I'm going to adhere that to my punched strip. Just adds a little bit of interest there. I want just a little pop of white to my card. And there you can see I just cut it to size and adhered it to the front of my card. Just going to see if I kind of like the placement of the butterflies, and then I'm going to use these mini glue dots to adhere just the body portion of the butterflies to the card. Just adding a couple to the center of each butterfly and adhering them. And then I'm just going to lift up that strip that I added here a second ago, and I'm just going to wrap some white string around it a few times and then tie it in a little bow. I decided after I'd already adhered it that I wanted to add just a little bit of embellishment. So I'm just going to tie that into a little bow and snip the ends. Now I need to add my greeting, so I'm just going to take one of the greetings that says "Just for You" from the Hero Arts All Occasion Messages set, and I just stamped it with some brown ink on some craft cardstock, and I'm just cutting around it because I'm going to use this label punch, and it punches better if it doesn't have to punch through a whole bunch of extra cardstock. So I'm just finding the one I want to use. I'm going to trim that just a little bit more. I'm going to put it in there and I'll punch that out to use as the greeting for my card. And after I have it punched out, I'm going to again just take a little bit of that vintage photo ink and just rub it along the edges to distress it just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add, because I've already adhered the butterflies to the card, I'm just going to go ahead and add some string to the buttons. And I'm not going to knot them on the back, I'm just kind of going to overlap it a little bit and then add a glue dot to hold that string in place. I didn't want any extra string showing on the back of my card or anything, so sometimes I like to add buttons this way so that the inside of the card looks clean and doesn't have anything showing through. And then I'm just going to adhere some of these corduroy buttons from Stampin' Up! To the centers of the butterflies. And I just added some pop dots underneath the wings just to give them a little dimension. And I added some pop dots to the greeting as well before adhering it to my card. And there's an easy distress stamped card. Thanks for watching.